Recording is on.
Okay, so today agenda is mainly focused on Docker Swarm. Okay, so we have Docker Swarm mode. Mainly it is used for orchestration purpose, okay, or clustering. So till now we have just installed Docker on a single node, okay, and separates nodes, right? So if something happens to that node, your containers that are running on that node will be crashed, okay, if something bad happens with your node. So in to resolve that issue, we have Docker Swarm. So there is not only uh, one node, but there might be more than one node. Okay, so it it form a cluster. So there should be more than one node. So one one should be Docker Swarm Manager. Okay.
Sarojit, hello. Are you sharing your screen right now? Because
Oh,
we are not able to see.
okay. Sorry. I forgot to share.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so now I think it should be visible.
Yes, it
Are you
is.
able to see? Yeah. Uh, so as I said, we have a cluster. It means there should be more than one node running in one cluster. Okay. So there should be one manager, and other will be workers. So that's called workers node. Okay. So if we talk about the swarm manager, in for high availability, we have more than one swarm manager in a cluster. Okay, so mostly it is in odd number like 1, 3, 5, 7, but it is recommended that don't go beyond 7, because if there are multiple managers, then it will take more time to elect a manager. If the current manager is means the node on which your current manager is running, if something bad happens to that node, there should be a election that happens. Okay, so other managers will elect who will be the next manager. Okay, so if there are multiple manager, then it will take time to decide who is going to the next manager. So what we do is mostly we if we have a big environment, a large environment, then go for 7 managers, but don't go beyond 7. It is not recommended. Okay, and you should have multiple worker nodes. There is no such restriction in worker nodes. Okay, so right now, if I show you, I have 3 servers. Okay, the 1C, this is my master server. Okay, and this one is 2C is worker and 3C is worker. So Docker is already installed. So if I run Docker info or version, sorry, you can see I have some outputs over here. So if we check swarm status, it is showing inactive, right? So we have to initialize swarm in this node. So on which node you initialize your swarm, that will become a manager. So that is the first manager in your cluster, right? And if you want to uh, create more managers, just join another manager, and we have some different token for manager and worker node. So if you are joining a node as a manager, you have to use different token, and if you want to use it as a worker node, you have to use different token. Okay, so that token will decide that node will be a manager or a worker in the cluster. Okay, so right now Docker is already installed. So if I just run Docker version, you can see the output. Okay, so we have client 18.09.5 and same is the Docker engine, and this is community edition, same with the second server. So Docker should be installed on all nodes. Okay, so I have already prepared the servers and I have already installed the Docker. And to install Docker, I have already shared a PPT that shows you the all the steps. I think PDF. So I will upload this recorded session and I will provide the link to that PDF. Okay, so you can go ahead and check that commands to install Docker. Okay, this is on Ubuntu 18.04 Bionic. So we have already installed Docker on all three nodes. So the next thing is we have to initialize the swarm mode. Okay, so swarm mode actually it is like said, it works as a cluster, and actually swarm is a, you can say, same synonyms of cluster. So in Docker world it is called as swarm, but in Kubernetes this side is it as same as cluster. Okay, so there is no difference, but you also get some orchestration in Docker Swarm as well. Okay, so we have some dashboard. So if you want to install that enterprise edition, then you will get a dashboard, and you can handle the your stacks, services, nodes from the web console. Okay, but that is paid, that is not free of cost. Okay, but actually uh, right now it is acquired by Marantis. So Marantis said that might be in future there is no Kubernetes Docker Swarm, but it will be as Kubernetes as a service. So that is a different thing. So Docker is, it is a container runtime. Okay, so Docker and Docker Swarm is two different things. So if you are installing a Kubernetes, so in the background, to use any software you can use as a container runtime. So container runtime is like on a, a application that is going to containerize your application. Okay, so that is called Docker, or another one is Rocket, and one more. I think. The name is Docker, Rocket, and Container D. Okay, so these are the application that uses to containerize your application, right? So Docker Swarm is just a clustering thing. Means actually you can install Docker on your host, okay, on your machine, but that is called single node, right? So in production you don't use a single node, because if something happens to your node, then your all your cluster sorry containers will be crashed, and you are not longer used to use your application. Okay, that's why we use multiple nodes as a cluster. Okay, so there is one cluster we can create, and then we can join multiple workers node, so that manager will automatically assign the container to the different nodes. It depends upon your workload. Okay, so how big is your container, and what is the resource on your node. So it checks all the things, so you don't have to worry about that, like on which node I should run that container. That is done by Docker Swarm. And Docker Swarm is actually not a Docker, but Docker kubelet. One is kubelet, or I forgot the name, but that software actually come with the Docker. Okay, so it is actually bundled with the Docker. So when you install Docker, that application is also installed with it. Okay, so just you have to initialize it. Okay, so as I said, we have uh, this node is right now Swarm inactive. So if I run again Docker info, this is Swarm is not active right now on this node. Okay, so I am going to initialize the swarm mode. So command is very simple. Okay, so command is docker swarm init, and then for different flags you can use hyphen hyphen help. Okay, so these are the options that you can provide while initializing your contain swarm mode. So these are the options like advertise address. So it will advertise the manager address. Okay, so that this option I am going to use right now, and you can use update these options later after initializing your swarm mode. Okay, so you can do it later as well. You can set these options later. Okay, so later we will going to lock this swarm. Okay, so we will do it after initializing the swarm, but right now I'm going to use this option, that is advertise address. So in advertise address, it is actually the IP of this server. Okay, so let me check the IP. So IP of this is, I have copied the IP. Okay, so let me just paste it. Okay, this is my IP of this 1C. Okay, so once I will initialize the container, sorry, swarm on this node, this node will become manager. Okay, so swarm initialized, current node is this one, is now a manager. So whenever you first run this command on which node, that node becomes manager. Okay, and you also got a string. So
Sarabjit, Shishir here. I got a question over here.
sorry, can you just,
Yes, Sarabjit, Shishir here.
yes,
Hello.
yes.
Yes, Sarabjit, I have a concern. Like you said, the on the
Mhm,
node on which we initialize the Docker swamp, that nodes become
mhm.
the swamp. I mean, that node becomes the manager, right?
Yes.
So there is no need to run that command Docker swarm join token manager, because if
No,
we want
actually,
to, yeah,
yeah. So
go
this command is for, as I said, there should not be only one manager in real production, right? There should be more than one manager, because if something happened to the
okay.
node on which your manager is running, in that case, there is no manager, right? So to make it high available, you have to create more than one manager. So, and mostly it is like in odd numbers, like 1 3 5 7. Okay, and not more than
Okay.
7, because again, you have to it takes some more time to decide who is going to be the next manager. So there should not be more time. Okay, so that's why we if you have a large environment, most to most maximum you go for the 7 manager. Okay, so when we have another manager that you want to join as a manager, okay, so you have to run this Docker swarm join to this manager. Okay, and this is for worker node, right? So I
Some
will
background
demonstrate this part.
noise is coming. Hello,
Sorry. Yes.
sir, I cannot hear you properly. Some background noise
Okay.
is coming. Can I request other guys to listen?
So others have the same issue, or other guys you can hear me? Okay. So
There is
since,
some
Yes,
there is
Sarabjit.
some there is some background noise.
okay, I think that is from Cesar Mike because I think he was unmute. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay.
now everything is fine.
Yeah, now it is clear.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, uh, so now the next thing is we have just initialized one swarm, and this will become a manager. Okay. And now we have two machines that is going to become a worker node. So what we are going to do is sister, to show you, I will do one thing. I will create one more VM. Okay, so what we will do here is we are going to create two manager and two workers. Okay, then I will show you this command. Okay, so just give me 1 minute. Meanwhile, I will just create one machine. Okay, so just be with me for 1 minute. So it will be worker 3. Okay, so that machine is getting created, and let me just rename it as a manager 2. So I just retaking my machine, so I can understand, okay, which is which, right? So this is manager, and now if I run this command docker info, so now you, if I scroll up, you can see swarm is active and is manager true. Okay, it means this node is a manager. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to join the worker nodes. Okay, so like I just clear my screen and I forget the token, right? So how I will get that token once again? So the command is docker swarm join token. Okay, so if you need for worker, just give worker over here. Okay, and if you want manager token, just replace worker with manager. Okay, so this is for manager. Okay, so the string you can see the same, the string is same, just this last string is different. So this string define like uh who is going to worker or who is going to manager. So first on 2C I am going to join a as a manager. So first I will run this worker node command on third machine. So this is 3C. Okay, and again if I run docker info over here, you can see somewhere here swarm inactive, right? So once I will run this command docker swarm join, okay, that this node join as a worker, right? So if I go over here and run docker node ls, you can see we have two nodes, one is 1C and second is 3C. So this is a worker. So manager status, if it is leader, it will be a manager. Okay, and if there is nothing mentioned over here, that means it is a worker node. Okay, and to confirm that node is worker node or not, you can run this docker info command and check over here is manager, it says false, and if you run the same command over here, it says is manager true. Okay, so now let me just output this manager string once again and copy this string and paste it to 2C. Okay, so now we are using this docker swarm manager. Okay, so this 2C will be the next manager. Now you can see this node joined as a manager. Okay, so if you have any question, you can just interrupt me in between. There is no issue. Now you can see this part reachable. Okay, if there are more than one manager, so one will be tagged as reachable, and who is the current manager, that will be a leader. Okay, other will be reachable. It means if something bad happens to this leader, this will become manager automatically. Okay, so if let's say we have three, then the other two will decide who is going to the next manager, and they will send message to each other. Okay, so now if I run the docker info over here, it will become, if you check edge manager, it will say yes, so it is true. So this two node 1c and 2c is manager, and this one is a worker node. Okay, and I have one more node, so I have to prepare that node. Means just as I said, we have to install docker init, okay, on these servers before uh, initializing the node. Okay, so I have to run those commands. Okay, so let me share my screen once again. Just give me 1 minute. Just I am doing some initial setup that is actually not required for you guys. So just give me 1 minute. Okay, okay. So I have one more server now. Okay, and this is actually blank, means it is just CentOS is installed on this system. Okay, and I have to go through the whole process. So just be with me, and if you have any question, you can ask me. Okay, so if I run docker version over here, you will get docker is not a command, or it is not understand by the docker not found. Okay, but can be installed with this command. Okay, but it is a Ubuntu system, so we have to go through some commands. Okay, some prerequisite you can say. So what we do, first thing is like update. Okay, so it will just take 2 minutes, not more than that, and I will copy paste the command to save the time, and I will just go through in a brief what are the commands do. Okay, I think, I don't know, this machine is taking more time. So to test this scenario, we are going to create a service. Okay, but service I am going to uh, go into the deep uh, in next session. Okay, mostly not tomorrow, because tomorrow I have some tasks, or actually I will let you know at the end. Okay, so update is complete. Let's, so this is going to install this 3 4 things, like app transport, https, ca certificates, curl, and this agent software properties. Okay, so another process is using it. Oh, this issue actually I faced earlier as well, and this actually sucks really. Okay, let me just reconnect it. Hopefully this time it should work. If I do something at the runtime, it won't work. And these to start these three machines, actually I just took 5 minutes, but now I don't know what happened with this one. Oops. Hmm. Actually, sometimes I don't dig into this issue, but let me just update the system once again. Unable to acquire the DPKG front lock. It seems like when we run this update and it does not unlock this part, so the second installation won't work. Okay, so this happens actually, I know. So we have installed some initial packages, and this time I'm going to add JPG key, so it will tell where to go. And it is just to check the fingerprint, and that is not a mandatory command. This is just to check. Okay, and then I'm going to add the repository. If I don't add this repository and you run the next command, you will get error because that your Ubuntu system will not find the required things that you want to install. Okay, so we have to add this repository like download.docker.com/linux ubuntu, and then this part is actually a command. So let me show you this command. So it shows the architecture, I think, release. So if you just run this command, you will get a output. So it shows Bionic. So I have installed Ubuntu 18.04 Bionic. So this will be replaced with Bionic, okay, and stable version. And this will be uh, changed as architecture as a 64 AMD 64. Okay, so the whole command will be https download.docker.com/linux ubuntu, and then it says the version it should be Bionic and it should be stable version. So there are multiple versions like stable, some are in uh, like testing, and there are beta. Okay, so we need a stable version. Okay, so we have to give that part. And the last thing is we are going to install the Ubuntu client and engine. So apt-get install docker ce, that is community edition, and I want 18.09.5, and this, and this is the engine, and this is the CLI. Okay, so we are running this docker command that is called CLI. Okay, so before installing docker, we are not able to run the docker command because that is not in the with this docker CLI was not installed. So if I want to install this docker CLI, I can. Okay, but if there is no uh, docker engine, then you cannot do the containerized thing. You can just run the command, but you will get errors. Okay, and then container D is also a runtime container runtime application. So I'm going to install these 4 packages. Okay, so it will be completed in few minutes. Meanwhile, what I was talking about is service. So what is a service? Service is like a task. Okay, so multiple task makes a service. Like we have one application that is Nginx application or any web application, and we need 3 replica of it. Okay, so that becomes a service because we need more than one task for the same application. So that is called service, and it is actually we can run multiple instances of a service. So right now we have just run one single container, like we have nginx container, so we just use docker run and then container name like docker run hello world. Okay, so in that case you just create one container, right? But in real scenario we create this, like we should have multiple replicas, so if something happened to one replica, that traffic will be migrated to another one. Okay, or it might be for load balancing. Okay, so we are going to create a service and we are going to create three replica of that service. Okay, and that is handled by our manager. Okay, so now this one is also completed. Let me just add the cloud user to this docker group. So sudo user mod -a -g docker cloud user. Okay, so I have to just re-log in to work my command. So why I have done this, because if I don't add that cloud user to docker group, I have to use sudo every time when I am running docker. Okay, so to avoid that sudo part, I have just added cloud user as a in the docker group. Okay, so if I don't do that, then if I run this docker version or any docker command, I have to use sudo in front of docker. Okay, so that's why we have added that cloud user to docker group. So now again, if I run docker info, the if you check for the swarm mode, it will be inactive, right? Once we add this node as a worker node, so let's assume like we have one more node that just created, but this cluster is running for a while, like last 1 month. So now I need the token. So what I will do, I hope you remember the command. So it is docker swarm join token, and I need worker token, so worker. So it gives us a full command that is going to work. So here I am on 4C and I am going to add it as a worker. So I have worker. Now if I run docker node ls, we will see four nodes, two managers and two worker nodes. Okay, so leader will be your current manager and reachable will be your, you can say, secondary manager. Okay, assume it is in a standby mode. Okay, if something happens to this node, this will become the manager. Okay, and if you are more than two nodes means over, suppose we have three manager in a node. So if something happened to the leader, we have two more managers, so there is a election is going to happen between them, like who is going to the next manager. So that is a mutual understanding who is going to the next one. Okay, and here we have this is called cluster. Okay, and now we are going to create a service, nginx service. Okay, that has three replica of the container, and we are not going to specify on which node this should be work. Okay, that is defined by your manager, so on which node container should run. Okay, so command is simple again. So I have to create a service. So docker service create, and name of the service, let's say test service. Okay, and main thing is this replicas. So I want 4 replica, let's say. Okay, and image I am going to use, sorry, I'm going to use nginx image. Okay, so if I just hit enter, you will see 4 tasks. Okay, so service is, uh, you can say, a combination of tasks. So if you have multiple container or same multiple containers, so it will become automatically a service. So it doesn't mean like, if you run the 4 different same containers using docker run, then that is not a service. Okay, so if you are creating, or if you want to run a same container but multiple containers, same multiple containers, okay, more than one, then you are going to use service command rather than docker run. Got it? So now I have docker service create named test service. So I want to check the service, so docker service ls. So you can see here, this is the id, this is the name, and it is showing replicated, and 4 out of 4. Okay, so this 4 container is automatically distributed to all the other nodes. Okay, so if I just run docker ps, you might find one. So here is one container that is running right now. Okay, and if I go to the second one, so this is a manager again. So if I run docker ps, okay, so here it is also running one more, and actually we have 4, so I think there should be one on each node. Okay, so this is called you know the your manager is going to decide like on which server I have to run the container. Okay, so the second thing is, if you have a large environment, you don't want this working or this task to be run on your manager node, right? You don't want it because manager already overloaded. He has some more works than the worker node. So he has to it has to decide like on which node I have to run this container, and if there is some issue with the memory, or there is a memory uh, less memory on any node, so your manager is going to replicate your container to the different node that has more memory. Okay, so those things has been done by the manager. So in that case, I don't want any task to be handled by manager. So I don't want this node work as a manager as well as worker. So I have to drain this node. Okay, or this is not for actually for like manager. If something, I know like this node has some failure, some hardware failure, and we are performing some maintenance on this node, okay, on 4c. So in that case, you don't want any container to be started over here. So what you are going to do, you have to drain this node. Okay, so you have to change the availability to drain. So let's see, we have already running one service, that is this nginx service, and something happened to this node, and I don't want to participate this node in a cluster. Okay, I'm just want to, it should be a part of cluster, but nothing is going to schedule on this node. Okay, so in to do that, I have to make it available as drain. So I have to update this node as drain. So sorry, actually we have to run these commands from manager, not from the worker. So this is the worker node. Okay, So I need actually the host name only, or you can give the IP address as well. So if I run docker node ls, so I think I already have the host name over here, and I want this. Let's assume like this 4c has some hardware failure and I want to drain it. So what is the command? Docker node update, and if you forget, you can just write help instead of the main command. So, and the main or you can say good thing about docker I like is if I run help over here, it will give the next command. Okay, so after docker node you can use these 4 to 5 commands like docker demote. So demote one or more node from manager. Okay, so this is a very simple ways. You can just, you have to explore this part. Okay, so actually I also don't know about this part, like we can demote it as well. Okay, so if I want this manager is not I want to make it as a worker in a future, so I have to just demote it. Okay, and again, I don't know what should be the next part. So docker demote, I know this one. So again I can use hyphen help. Okay, so it will give docker node demote, and then the only I need is the node name. So I have to give the node name only. Okay, so this, in this uh, way you can find the commands very quickly, or correct way. Okay, so if sometimes you forget any commands, you can just do hyphen help with every command. So if I just know docker, so I can start from here as well. Okay, so what I was doing, docker, and the next command was I don't know. So at least what I have to do is I have to do something with the node, right? So docker node. So this is the main thing. The help is, in a good thing I want to share is whenever I have watched any videos, any training videos, I thought they mostly focus on the help part in the first session. Why? Because this is the main reason. If you know how to use the help, you know all the commands. Okay, you don't have to go anywhere. Okay, documentation is very good in docker. So okay, so the I like, I want to work on node. So docker node hyphen help. Okay, and I want to update. Okay, so docker node update hyphen help. Okay, and you can label, add or update a node label like a key or value. So I like I have some nodes with some labels like this is for production only, and this is for but real scenario, your cluster is different for prod and uh, sorry, prod and called non-prod. Okay, so but it might be like some node has some web servers, you want these nodes to host only container web containers. Okay, so you can update the label as well with that command, like docker node update hyphen label hyphen add, and we have to give key equal value, means key and value pair. So we can say env equal bev, like this. Okay, but I have to give the node name as well, so on which node I want to apply this label, right? So let me just list the nodes first, and then we will go with the labels. So let's see, I want this 3c to be a web. So this should work as a web. And okay, so if I run docker info, you can find that label part. Okay, so labels, I think it is blank right now over here. It should be at the top somewhere. Raft snapshot. Hmm. So I think I'm not able to find that label. Okay, not issue, but we can, and I think it should be Docker node ls somewhere here. No. Okay, just give me 1 minute, and we can find that. Okay, so I will show you that part a little later. Might be because the time constant. Okay, so not issues. Let's go ahead, and what we are going to do is we are going to drain this 4c. Okay, so the command is docker node update, uh, docker node update, and then have availability. Okay, so I want to train this node, right? So if I once more thing, uh, you not only drain, I think you can do some more things as well. Okay, so right now we are going to drain it, and we will see what we can do more. Okay, so let me just drain this. For one thing, remember that we have uh, one container is running on this node. Okay, and one container is running on, means each container is running on every node. So uh, if I drain this node, what will happen with this container? Okay, that is the question. So if I just scroll up where I have listed the service, so let's see, is it okay? So here you can see replica is 4 out of 4. It is showing right now. So if I drain this node, that's done. So now you can see availability is drained. Okay, but if I run docker service ls, we have replicas 4 out of 4. Okay, it means that container is moved to the other node. Okay, and that is a uh, skill what can let me mute everyone. Okay, so there should be on any node there should be two containers running. So okay, so on this worker node that container is you can say distributed, or it moved to this 3c worker node. Okay, and that is the magic of the swarm. If something happened to one node, that uh, whatever containers are running on that node will be migrated to other node. The condition is the resource should be available. Okay, so it is recommended that there should be enough space, like if you have 100 TB, or one, yeah, 10 TB of rams on each node. Okay, so there should be enough space, like more than 10 TB space should be available each time. So if something happened to one node that is 10 TB, so it holds about 10 TB workload, right? So you should have more than 10 TB, like 12 TB, 13 TB of resource available in your cluster, okay, so that it should be moved to the other nodes. That is the main condition. So if you don't have the physical resource, that is not going to work. Okay, so I think I have shown this part, and I'm going to go to the next part, that is backup and restore. Before that, one more thing, if you want to remove any node from the cluster, you can do, that is simple docker node remove, that is rm, and the name of the node. Okay, so let's see, I have drained it and I don't want this in the cluster anymore. Okay, that is not the part of the cluster. So I think I will get to error. Okay, yes. So it says it node down and cannot be removed. So before removing any node from your cluster, it should be shut down. Okay, or it is not up. Okay, so I have to shut down this machine. And another thing we can do is we can force remove as well, that we have the, because sometimes you will get weird issues while working on real scenarios. Okay, so once it is down, we are going to remove that node from the cluster. Okay, and then we will work on the backup and restore. So backup and restore is very very simple. I think I have already given the scenarios for backup and restore. Okay, so here we are going to just revise that part. Okay, so let's assume that
Uh,
that's,
Sarabjit, Shishir,
yes,
I have a question. Can you brief us on lock art? I mean, how to lock? I mean, to
yes, yes,
like,
after backup and restore, we are going to work on lock and unlock.
no,
Okay, okay, that server is shutting down. Let's try once more time. Okay, so now it is removed. Okay, if I just run this docker node ls, now that node is not longer part of cluster. Okay, so this is the I think basic commands that your daily use command in real scenario. In real scenario, you daily you are getting a node that has some failure issue, because right now I am working in a clustering part, and you don't uh, you don't believe, but daily we have to do some maintenance on any node. Okay, and yesterday I think we have one node failure. Okay, so in that case we have to do these three things. First, we have to drain that node, and then if you are doing some maintenance, just remove it from the cluster, and then do the maintenance part on the clusters, and then just rejoin it. If it is a manager, rejoin it as a manager, or if it is a worker, rejoin it as a worker node. Okay, and again that node can able to take the loads, workloads, right? So now we have removed, and now we are going to take backup. So just let me run this command, docker node ls. Okay, so what are the things that we have to remember before?
Yeah, Sarabjit. Yeah, Rakesh here. Yeah, hello, Sarabjit.
Yes, yes. uh, do you have any question?
Yes, Sarabjit.
Yeah.
Suppose, Sarabjit, we have one application.
Mhm.
Hello.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Uh, 1 minute.
Okay, no issues, it happens. Okay, I think some Rakesh has a question. So
Yeah, Sarabjit.
yes,
Hello.
yes.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
are you able to
sometimes
hear me?
network is problem. Yes. Sarabjit,
Somebody is
suppose
crying.
I have a hello,
Yeah, go ahead.
hello.
Yes, go ahead,
Yeah,
Rakesh.
suppose yeah, suppose we have a application which is distributed the four node. I mean, four workers. Okay,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
suppose one worker is a problem, and
mhm,
we have a shutdown right now. Okay,
mhm,
for the
mhm,
maintenance activity,
mhm.
this application is distributed by another node is distributed, and once the maintenance mode is completed, and we can back the node, and
Mhm.
who will be the decided to install the application, same application on that node after join, or what will be the happen?
Yes, so once you join, like uh, okay, let's take this example, okay, and we have already a service right now, okay, so we have
Yes.
four service, one service and four tasks, okay, and if I check, one task is running over here, and one task is running over here, and two tasks are running on this node, okay, and let me just resume that node once again, okay, and let's see what happened. So I have just started the node, it will take 1 minute, okay, and then I will just show you. So what happened once I just like, that is a new node, that is not in the cluster, so first I have to join it, okay. So for that I have a command, that is docker
Okay.
from join token, and if that is a worker node, just type worker over here, and we have this command, okay, and once
Okay.
the node is ready, you can just
Mm-hmm.
copy this command and paste
Mm-hmm.
to that node, okay. Before
Okay.
that you have to again, there should be docker already installed, okay, so that is prerequisite,
Okay.
that should be already
You are
there,
right, sir.
okay. So once that
Okay.
is done, let's just wait for 1 minute. Once the uh, worker node is ready, I will show you, okay. So this, you can see here we have two task is running. So what will happen, like once I join the new node, the manager will
Mm-hmm.
check, and it will take some time, because it is take some time to decide, okay, to calculate the resource and all the things. And what will the manager will think, like, we have two nodes running over here, but we have one more nodes that is blank, means no work is performed by that node. So it will just distribute that workload to that new joined node, okay. So if I just copy this command, so your question was who is going to decide, so that is answer is manager node, okay. So manager node is
Yes.
responsible
Okay.
for, oh, you got a new thing, and I think we got a new thing, because this is new for me as well. So here you can see this part, uh, this node was already uh, worker node. So first we have to run docker swarm leave, and let's see it worked. Yeah, it worked.
Okay, sir, that means we had only removed the service. We
Yes,
didn't
actually,
go out of that. That is why it
yeah.
worked.
So we have not removed from the work, from the swarm. Okay.
From the
So
farm, yes.
because just imagine, this server is shut down already, okay, and we have run this command over on the manager node. So manager have that information, that that node is not a part of a cluster, but this node has no information that we I have just kicked off from the cluster, right? It assume, when it ups, it assume that I am the part of the cluster, right? So if I have to run this command docker info before leaving it, it should be, I think, storm. Right now it is showing inactive, but if I didn't run this command docker swarm leave, and I have run this command run this command, then I think you got this swarm is active. Okay, because of that, it Docker is saying that first leave the swarm and then rejoin it. Okay, got it? Or should I explain once again? Okay, I think okay, well, let me copy it once again. Okay, so now this node joined a swarm as a worker. Okay, and run this node ls. So now again we have 4. And I think we have to wait for some time because I don't think it will take effect immediately. Yes, it is not going to take effect immediately, but if a new service, let's say, created over here, like create a new service, Docker service create hyphen name, and we can give any name, it depends. So name, let's say service or web service. Okay, web service, and again replicas. I need 2 replicas, that's it, and I'm going to use the same image. Okay, so now you will see this new task is assigned to this blank one. Okay, one is here, and I think other will be over here. No, so it might be over here. Oh, sorry, Docker PS. So 2 are here and 1 is over here. So what I was saying, like we don't want this workloads to be assigned to worker node. Okay, so actually we have a command. One is, you can drain this node. Okay, but I think we have a better way to define it as
Hello, hello, Sarabjit, hello.
okay. So am I audible now? Hello.
Yes, Sarabji.
Okay. So just okay. Uh, it is started. So let me share my screen once again. Okay. So what I was talking about. Uh, Actually, I forgot. Yes. So I was talking about the manager node. So if we don't want to assign any work to the manager node, we have a command that is we can actually drain it, but I think we have a better way to do that. Okay, but right now actually I also not remember. So, but I know there is a way. But I will show you in the next session. Okay. So right now, if I just Docker PS two containers, Docker PS one container. So Rakesh, so you got the answer. Okay, so if you join your node again to the cluster, it is the manager responsibility to distribute the load. Okay.
Yes, Abhijit, got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
So okay. So let's go for the backup and restore part. And this is very simple. Uh, you have to just remember a very few commands or two or three commands, but main thing is you have to stop the docker before taking a backup. Okay, so the command is systemctl stop docker. Okay, so I think, oh, wrong command, it is ctl. Okay, and if I check the status, system ctl status docker, so it is inactive, right? So I can take backup now, and simple command is docker tar -z vcf, and then the name of your file. So jet for jep, v for verbose, c for compress, and f for file name. Okay, and you can give backup swarm dot tar dot gj. Okay, gj, that is a compression, and what I have to backup is var live docker swarm. So whatever inside this folder swarm will be backed up. Okay, so this is removing leading member names, and these are the folders that is getting backed up. Okay, so now I can start my docker. So sudo systemctl start docker. So if you want to backup, you can schedule backup using cron job, and there are multiple applications that schedule the job. So it depends upon you when to take the backup and how frequently you want to take backup. Okay, so if I do ls over here, we have one file that is star gj. Okay, and now what I am going to do is, suppose, or let's see, we have just uh, destroy our manager is destroy our cluster is got destroyed. So what I can do, I can just restore from the backup. So backup is should not be on your node, it should be somewhere else, like on uh, cloud server or any other backup server. Okay, so let's assume the swarm is destroyed or crashed. So what I will do, I will stop to mimic the info scenario. I will just stop this docker. Okay, docker service, and I will delete, I will going to delete this var live docker swarm. So I'm going to delete whatever inside the swarm. Okay, because it has all the information about the swarm, this directory. So I'm going to delete it. So it is deleted, and now, as you know, the docker is stopped. Okay, so you cannot run any command. So if I just run docker and node ls, cannot connect to the docker daemon. So this output is from the docker CLI, not from the daemon. Okay, so if I just run docker, it it is giving us the output. But if I run docker version or any command, because it is going to talk with the docker daemon, so this is the output of your client. But if you check for the daemon, it is showing is the docker daemon running. Okay, so that is the issue, means docker daemon is not running. So let's try to start docker daemon, but I don't know it is going to start or not, because we have deleted that folder. Okay, so systemctl start docker, let's see. So here's the things come. Okay, so this is, we have another manager. Okay, you remember guys, we have another manager, so I can run this command over here, and now you can see the actual thing that I was talking. If something is down, it is going to take over by another one. So now this one become the leader, the second one. However, the status is showing as unknown. Okay, and it might be some issue with this node, but I just want to, if I run docker node ls, so now this 1c is now reachable but not the leader. Okay, this one become the leader, right? And this data is coming actually from over here, not from this docker swarm, because if you go for sudo sudo cd, or let's say ls var live and docker swarm, so there are actually docker state.json. So these files, where it comes, actually it is coming from this another manager. So something has been replicated over here, but not all. Okay, because if let's check the files over here, sudo ls var live docker swarm. So this is actually replicated from here to here. Okay, and I think there might be some hidden files as well. No hidden files, because actually I just confused, because we have, while taking backup, we have, okay, there are some files inside the other directory. Okay, that's it. Means we have, if we want to t var live docker. So anyone has confusion what I am doing over here? Okay, tree is actually, it is a command for Windows, not for Linux. It is, I think, T. Okay, let's forget about it. So what happened right now, because we have two managers, okay, because of two manager, our there is not issue with our cluster, right? But if assume if we have only one manager, or some, like, both manager has been destroyed. Okay, so in this scenario I cannot what is called, I cannot show you the restore and backup. So what I am going to do is I am going to just drain that second node, okay, and remove it from the cluster. Got it? So just let me know if you have any question. Okay, so this asterisk, what it represent? Someone can answer this question. That asterisk, what is represent? Any
is that
suggestion? Yes, yes.
the manager asterisk? I mean, we are in that node, current node.
No,
I
sorry,
mean,
because
that ID.
here you can see it is on 1C, right? But it is not the manager, but asterisk is there.
No, no, that is what I'm saying, that we are on the same, I mean, IP, on that IP.
Yes, yes. So on which node you are, it represent. So right now I am on 2C,
Yes, yes.
so asterisk is over there on 2C. Okay. If you are on 1C, so on which manager are you currently on? Okay, so it represents that. And this represents your current leader or manager. Leader means manager, and reachable means it becomes the standby. Okay, so what we are going to do right now, I'm going to just drain this manager node. Okay, and I will remove it from the cluster. So the command is docker node update availability and drain, and I want to drain this one. Yes. So now if I run docker node ls, this is drain. Okay, and at the same time I'm going to leave the swarm. So what happened, you are attempting to leave a swarm on a node that is participating as a manager. Removing this node leaves one manager out of two. Without a raft quorum, your swarm will be inaccessible. The only way to restore a swarm that has lost consensus is reinitializes with force new cluster. Use force to suppress this message. Okay. So again we have a issue. So why actually why I do these things? To show you. Okay, because if I just say something, you are not going to remember the thing. Okay, because of that I want to show everything. Okay, what is the error and why we are getting it. I want to read this error and understand with this error. Okay, because what it says, like, if you just leave this swarm, okay, what will happen, your quorum will be lost, because as I said, if something down, any manager is down, there is an election, and that is based on the voting. Okay, so every node vote. Okay, so that is a raft quorum. So it create a quorum when this will be left from the swarm. Your swarm will be inaccessible, means you cannot use your sum. That will become unbalanced. So it is not going to define who is going to manager, and if there is no manager in cluster, that cluster is not going to work at all. Okay, so because we have already, so again here is the question, like, you will ask me what should I do if it happens. Okay, like suppose you have a manager node that has some issue and you just want to remove it from the cluster. In that case, what should I do? Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to run this command. Okay, this is already drained, so we are going to remove it from here. So let's try if I can do it. We are going to get
No,
the
sorry,
same.
sir. We have to forcibly.
So, so now you remember something that I was showing while demonstrating that help part?
Demote wall.
Yes, right. So it is clearly mentioned that you can do it, but before draining or doing something with it, you have to demote it from the manager. So if I want to do something, or if I want to remove from this node from, or this manager from the cluster, first I have to demote it. It is right now a manager, so first I have to demote it. So docker node demote, and I want to demote this node. Okay, so manager is demoted, and if I now run docker info, swarm will be active, but is manager is false. Okay, so now I can easily run that command docker swarm leave. Got it? So now if I run command docker node ls, because I have not removed it from the cluster, it is showing join. Okay, but I have removed from the swarm, so the swarm is not over here. We have to rejoin using the token. Okay, so here I have to remove it from the cluster as well. So docker node remove, and I want to remove this node. I think now it will be confusing, because we have, I think, done we have run multiple commands till now. So now this is becomes leader. So leader, actually when we have demoted it from the uh, as a manager, it automatically, this 1c become the leader once again. Okay, before that it was just reachable, or you can say standby mode. Okay, so now we are going to perform that uh, restored part. We have already taken the backup, but the problem is, after taking backup we have already done multiple things. Okay, like we have removed it from the manager, demoted as a manager, and then remove it from the node. So the good thing is, I think we should take backup once again. Okay, otherwise, there are some zombie things will happen, and that will make your cluster unstable once again. Okay, so I will do it little faster this time. So what is the first thing that I have to remember before taking a backup? Remember, systemctl stop docker. Okay, and simply sudo tar -z for zip, v4 vavo c4 compress f4 file, and then backup. And this part is actually depends upon your distribution as well. Sometimes, some flags won't work. Okay, so backup swarm new .tar.gz, and I want to backup war live docker swarm. That's it. Again, I can.
So Sarabjit, we
Yes.
can take backup. I mean, we can keep the backup as per our choice. The location can be changed, right?
Yes, means it depends upon you where you want to keep this backup, because mostly it is not recommended on your host, because this node might uh, uh, something bad happened to this node, your backup is gone. Okay, so good thing is, put it on the cloud, or on a backup server that is getting replicated, or there are DR for that server. Okay, so you have multiple backups for
Okay,
the same. Okay,
got it.
so let me just start this docker. Okay, and again, if I do docker node ls, yes, everything is working. So now we have taken the backup. Now I want to restore it. So again, the same thing, we have to service. So like in real scenario this is not going to happen. Like your might be your Docker service is not running already. Okay, so you don't have to stop the Docker service. Okay, so here actually I have to show or mimic the scenario. Because of that I have to stop it again. Otherwise, if it is crashed, then it is already in stopped state. Okay, and sometimes it happens like that is running but not completely stopped. It is in halfway, so you have to forcefully stop the service. So I have stopped the service, and again, to mimic the scenario, I am going to remove that var live docker swarm asterisk. Okay, so now if I run, so okay, now try once again. So last time the thing is replicated from the another manager. Okay, let's see if now if I want to start the docker. So it is started, but the main thing is, if I run docker node ls, hey, what happens? Actually it should not work. Okay, let me list once again. So sudo ls var live docker swarm. I think something is not working. Means somewhere it has this. When I am starting the docker, it is creating the file. Okay, so what I am going to do is, uh, let me stop the service once again, and before starting it I will check it is deleting the file in swarm or not. Okay, to confirm. Might be when I just restart it, it just copy some file from somewhere, but I don't know from where, because last time it is copied from an other node. Okay, so it is deleted, and if I just list the file, yes, this is the problem. Okay, so actually it is not deleting the files.
Yes, it is deleting the backup one. I mean that.
No, backup is over here, so we have this new.
So
But I,
can we delete manually?
yes, I'm doing this.
Manual.
Let me just go one step ahead and check the files in the certificates. So I cannot access no such file or directory. Okay, wrong certificate. So everything is there. Okay, so I think we have to do one thing. Let me set the password for root. But it should not give it should give some error. Okay, but I don't know why it's not giving an error. Okay, let's change the password of root. Okay, and change to the root, and now rm-rf/. Okay, let me check the systemctl status docker. Yes, it is inactive. And now let me remove that file var live docker Swarm. Okay, and now list. Yes, now it's done. Okay, so exit from here, and now I want to start Docker once again. So actually, when I have run using sudo, it should actually send uh, at least an error, because of that we are not able to understand. So I have started, and if I do, yes, actually I want this thing. Okay, so now you can see this node is not a swarm manager. Use Docker Swarm, so every data has been gone now. Okay, if I now do Docker info, Swarm is inactive. Okay, so actually we have lost the data, and let's assume that file system has been corrupted on this node. So what I'm going to do is I have to again stop the Docker first, Docker service or sudo system ctl stop and Docker. That's done, and I have to just extract that file to that Swarm folder. Okay, so again command is same, docker tar sudo tar -z. Here just replace this c, instead of c we have to use x for extract. Okay, and for file name is backup swarm new. Okay, this is the new one, and I want to extract it to the same folder where we have copied. So we have backed up from here, so I want to extract it over here. I missed something. Okay, actually there is one.
tar hyphen.
Yes, it should be
Actually,
hyphen. Due to previous errors not found in archive. I think we made a mistake. Sudo
would
tar.
just try to remove the first in gz form, then we restore the backup.
Yeah, I think it should work. Okay, we have to
Just
uncompress, right?
yeah, uncompressed, right, and then try to restore.
Mm, actually, I forgot the command. What
Tar
is?
hyphen xbf, not z,
Okay.
just tar hyphen xbf. Yes,
So
and
let
then yes, right. Yes,
okay.
yes. Okay, okay. Yeah,
Now
gz.
now I have to use Z, right,
Yes,
to extract to the
1 minute.
location.
Yeah, gz. Just extract the, what is the unzip. Just try to unzip. Sudo unzip, and then
No, just 1 minute. I think I have one file that is bear. So you can see this bear. Okay, because I have worked earlier and that command works fine. But okay, let me use star once again, and now it should be ZXVF. Let me try again. Let me try once again. And I think I should I can actually use slash var. That's it. So let's try. So it should be var backup new and node found in archive. But this is already there. Exiting with failure due to previous error. Hmm. Okay. RM and sister, in the last scenario, you have tried this part, right?
And yes, it had worked.
Yes. So
Actually,
I
yeah,
think
on
you
that
mentioned
day I
the
logged into the
flag
laptop.
issue with the flag. I think we have to replace the C
Yes,
or something, right? Instead of X,
so
I
C is the
think
compression.
it should be C.
Oh, yes. It is hyphen C, hyphen C. No, after G Z, after G Z, not O.
Over
After the
here.
file name. No. After the file name, I mean, after this backup underscore swan
Oh,
underscore new dot
got
yes.
it.
We have
Yes,
to put hyphen C in
yes,
cap.
yes. Actually, I have to mention
That
that.
was created. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Actually, I just remember like in the last scenario I was doing and I missed something. Yes. So yeah, I missed this C part. This is actually uh, provide like where to uncompress it. Okay. If you don't mention it, it is just showing something else. Okay. So now we have just extracted that backup to that location, and the simple command sudo systemctl start docker. Okay, that's done. And now if I run docker node ls, it should be there. Oops. Okay, and to troubleshoot it again, I am going to switch to the root. Okay, it might be that it is not showing any error, but actually the files might be not there. Okay, so let me list var live docker and swarm. Yes, so actually I was thinking about this part because it is uh, extracted the var over here. It should not be var. So again I have to just modify one thing. Yes, so let me exit over here and no, I think I have to delete that var folder. Okay, so rmrf slash var slash live slash docker slash swarm slash var. Okay, okay, that's it. And let me extract it over here. Okay, and oh sorry, I think again I mistake one thing. I should stop the docker before extracting it. Okay, so no issues, I have to just restart it. So systemctl stop docker, and again let me start it. Yes, so now okay. So have you got the answer? Actually it was uh, extracting this slash var over here, okay, inside the swarm. So it is again creating a new file system from here, like swarm slash var slash live slash docker slash swarm, okay. So the files were not inside the swarm, that was the issue, okay. So I have just removed it, and I have extracted over here. So it is the main files that we want is extracted under the swarm, okay. So now I can run docker node ls, and if I run docker info, you can see this swarm is active, okay. And the main thing is docker ps. What about this? Is those are running or not? So actually we have removed it from here, so the workload has been moved to the other node, so it might be over here. Okay, so earlier it has only one container that is running on this node, and this has already running two nodes, and this has already running two nodes. Okay, so manager understood that this node has only one container, so run the other container on this node. Okay, so these things are decided by manager, and here comes the automation. So Kubernetes has more automation in Kubernetes, okay. If you compare with the swarm, that's why we are using, or we are going towards Kubernetes, okay. So this is the I think we have done much of the part related to swarm. Just lock and unlock part is left, so I think we should cover it in the next session, because we have already ran out of time. It is 6 o'clock, okay. And I want to make a request. Please join at the time, so we can finish it at the same time, or just let me know if you are getting late or something, so we can wait for you guys, okay. So do you have
Yes,
any
yes,
question,
Rajat.
or we can wrap up the session?
Yeah, we can. So
Okay,
Sir,
Rohit Bachchan.
okay, so let me
I
just
have a question.
stop the okay. So if you have a question, you can ask.
Yes, what is that curl? curl curl. I mean, why do we use that command? Docker. I mean, curl docker.
Okay. So curl is actually to test, like I want to browse something, so I can use curl https google.com. So it is just a utility to browse something, okay, but you will get output in html file, okay. You can get in this form. So you will get
Okay.
a html output of any page or request. So it is just to actually curly just to test the any link or any url, okay. So it will give
Okay.
you the just give me 1 minute if you want to check more. So let's go to a website, okay. So if I go to just the YouTube or some HTML page website like W3 schools, okay, and now we will get a link over here, right? So if I just curl this link or URL, you will get a HTTP response from here. So this is the whole HTTP code, you can say. So now it actually help us to ping, like when we want to check a connection between two nodes, we use ping command, right? It if we got a response from the ping, we assume that the connection is between the node is fine. Okay, the same thing if I just curl this part, okay, any URL, and if we got the HTML response, it means this HTML website or URL is working fine. Okay, and there is no much use that I know. It might be some more useful for others, but actually I use to test the connection of any URL. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, when we are actually uh, installing Ubuntu, at that time I have installed curl, right? And because of that, I think you have this question. So let me show you where we have used that curl part. Okay, so we had this question, sorry, this command, okay, that says curl. Okay, it will curl to this location, and we can use this flag as well with it, and the key that is output. So if I curl this part, I will get an output from here. Okay, so let me clear to screen and paste it. So this is the output from this page GPG from here, this URL. Okay,
Okay.
so what we are doing over here while installing Ubuntu, we are just adding that key to our apt using apt key. So before downloading uh, Docker, we need a key to just for a public key, GPG key, that is Google public key. Okay, so we have to add this key to the node before installing Ubuntu, so that it can understand like we have to install on Ubuntu. Okay, and it is from docker.com. Okay, so it says you are, for just for authentication when you are installing the Docker. Okay, so curl is actually just, it is going to display whatever this URL has. And if you just want to check, actually I have used this -f SSL. Because of that, I think we got a simple output, but if we just remove that FSL, I think we will get a HTTP something like that. So no, so I think if I now browse this part, you will get the same thing. Okay, so if I just go over here and paste that, you will get the same thing over here as well. Oh, sorry, actually I copied whole thing. So a file is copied over here. Okay, so I have to actually open it in a notepad, and if I open it in a notepad, a notepad plus plus, you can see, let me just take it over here. So you can see the same thing it has. Okay, so because of that, we have to just use curl to output the page. Okay, whatever is content of the page, URL page. Okay, I hope I got the you got the answer, right? Any other question?